third-party company has actually spoken well of a Nintendo home console. Oh! No, seriously, this is actually exciting. So yes. A third-party company has spoken well of a Nintendo console, and not just any third-party company, but Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft. Or is it Ubisoft? You know what?
Ubisoft.
CEO has recently had an interview with GameSpot, not GameStop, GameSpot, yes, GameSpot. And in this interview, Mr. Yves Guillemot,
Je dis Ubisoft, but in English you can say Ubisoft.
Mr. G, I'm gonna call him that, Mr. G, CEO of Ubisoft, has recently come out and discussed with GameSpot his reaction to the Nintendo NX, what he thinks of the console, and what the developers over at the company are doing for the new Nintendo system. Now, of course, we know nothing. We meaning everyone outside of the core industry, that is the developers and insiders. So we know nothing, but these developers have most likely known what the Nintendo NX is. They've most likely known it for months, like months. I'm talking at least about a year, if not more now. Because Nintendo announced the release date for the system earlier this year. For them to announce the release date, that should tell you that information about the console was not a complete mystery to everybody, only the general public. So yeah, anyway, going off topic. Mr. G, CEO of Ubisoft, had this to say about the Nintendo NX, and again, he's actually speaking very positively about it. Here is what he had to say. The new Nintendo console is a fantastic machine. It's a really new approach. It's really Nintendo, which is something new again. We love it. Yeah, that's the first part of his comments. So he was obviously pretty enthusiastic about it, maybe a bit too enthusiastic, but he was very, very happy about it. And he's basically echoing what Nintendo themselves have been saying. They've always described the NX as being a brand new concept. It's going to be a new experience. It's going to not be a successor to either the Wii U or the 3DS. It's not going to be like the Wii or the Wii U. So they've been saying a whole bunch of vague things, but they've always been pointing in the general direction that this is going to be some new innovative console. And now Mr. G is just simply echoing what Nintendo has been saying all along. But it is interesting that he is actually very happy about it. And many other, well, not many, but a few other third-party developers have also spoken well about it. Take-Two said that they were interested. Bethesda said that they may develop for it. You know, so we've had other comments from other third-party developers speaking generally well of this system. So it's good to hear this, but I'm not going to get too excited yet because there was a lot of good remarks about the Wii U before it launched from a variety of different developers, and we all know how that turned out. So I'm not going to hold my breath here, even if they're really excited for the system itself. I know that if it does not sell well, we're going to see a complete repeat of what we just had this generation, where developers are going to be there for the first couple of months, and then when things don't go the way they wanted to, they're going to abandon it like a sinking ship. So don't get too excited just yet, but it is still nice to hear good comments from developers, and that's what everyone is wondering. How are the third-party developers going to react to the Nintendo NX? They already know what it is, we don't. So their reactions have already been cemented eons ago. So whatever they say, it's from what they know, and more than likely, they all know. We don't, but they do. But that is not all that Mr. G had to say. He also talked about how it's, coming in at a very awkward time. It's just appearing, and there's a lot of other consoles that are coming out. But here's what he had to say about that. We always take disruptions on the positive side. We think each time that it's an opportunity for our creators to take more risks. When a machine is installed, there are a certain number of brands that take up the time of players. So they're going to buy the next Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty. Even if they say, I'm interested in what you're doing, at the end of the day, they first buy what they know, then go somewhere else. That's actually a very true statement. He continues, when they change machines, they consider that it is better to try what has been done for that machine. This gives us opportunity to totally change an IP, what we have done before, or to create new experiences with new IPs. Now, the example he gave was what they did with Zombie U on the Wii U when it launched. It was not actually a new IP. Zombie is actually a very old IP, but it's just a second entry of it that came way after the original, and it was released initially as a Wii U exclusive and as a launch title at that. And it sold high numbers for a third-party title on the Nintendo system, almost 1 million copies, but Ubisoft, for whatever reason, didn't consider that to be a success because it didn't actually make a profit. And it's kind of weird because this was a launch title for the system. It didn't really look all that impressive. It wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't all that impressive. So it didn't really look like there was a huge budget behind it. But I guess with all the research and development they had to do with it, that's probably what made it so expensive according to them. But anyway, that's going off topic. It's still just nice to hear him saying that, you know, they have an interest in the Nintendo NX. And from what they know, you know, they like it. They like the system. But of course, what they're really going to enjoy is if it sells well. Because even if the Wii U, for instance, if the Wii U sold better, like if it was selling like on par with the Xbox One or even a little bit more, we would see a whole lot more third-party games coming to this system, all right? And of course, Nintendo wouldn't be dropping support for it this early in the game. But seriously, if it was selling better, third-party games would be coming to the system, bar none. All right, the Wii proved that you do not need to have a huge amount of power for games to still come, because the Wii was nowhere near the power level of the PS3 or the 360, yet it was still getting stuff like every Call of Duty that was being released during that time. Of course, it wasn't as pretty as the PS3 and 360 versions, but the game was still coming. So the Wii U could be running Infinite Warfare, for example, but the only reason why it's not coming out on the system is because it isn't selling well. If it was selling well, trust me, third parties would be there. Even if not all multi-platform games would be coming to the system, the majority of them, like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Madden, FIFA, Need for Speed, they would be coming, because those are staples and they sell just about almost anywhere. So trust me, if the Wii U was selling, third-party games would be there. And in like manner, even if the NX isn't as powerful as the PS4 Pro or the Project Scorpio, third-party games will be coming to the system, and we already have a few confirmed ones, like Dragon Quest is coming, Project Sonic 2017 is coming, and of course we also have first-party games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and most likely Pikmin 4. So yeah, third-party titles already in the works, and that's going in. Those are just a handful of what we know. There are actually 3, but I only mentioned 2. I deliberately left out Just Dance 2017 because, yeah, it's Just Dance, but Ubisoft has already confirmed that they do have projects in the works for the NX outside of Just Dance. What that is, we do not know. Tom Clancy Wildlands is coming out within the same period as the NX, spring 2017, so that could end up being a launch title. Who knows? I'm not really a big fan of Tom Clancy titles, but it's whatever. Third-party support, it would just be nice to have. And know that if the system sells well, even if it's not as powerful as PS4 Pro or Project Scorpio, trust me, developers are going to like it. They will be there. Hopefully Nintendo has learned their lesson and made the porting process a lot easier than what it has been with past systems, because the last system that was truly easy for developers to have multi-platform games on from Nintendo was the SNES. Seriously, yes, it's been that long, because the N64 used cartridges, the GameCube used mini discs, the Wii was in HD, the Wii U is a different architecture from the PS4 and the Xbox One. So there's always been some major hurdle that developers have had to go over in order to get their games on a Nintendo home system, and it's been well over 20 years, going on 30. So that should tell you how long it's been since Nintendo had really good third-party support. So I am very interested to see how the NX is going to handle this. I very much doubt that we're going to see some magical fix to this situation. I really doubt the NX is going to have the same amount of third-party support as the PS4 and the Xbox One and their upgraded counterparts. But, you know, anything is possible. If the porting process is simple and consumers are buying it, Trust me, third parties will be there. Even if they're not fully there, they will be there. So we just have to wait and see how this is all going to turn out. But it's good to know that Ubisoft has nice comments to say now. Let's see what happens in 2 years. With that said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. This is AK, owner of eXtremeAzure, signing off.